Good morning, everyone. This is John with Gun.Deals. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Apex Tactical Trigger Enhancement Kit for Glock pistols. But before we get into that, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, as that is all free and does help us out quite a bit. And go ahead and comment your favorite Glock trigger in the comments down below, or an entirely different gun in general. Now, talking about stock Glock triggers for just a minute, I don't really have an issue with the way a stock Glock shoots. The triggers are okay, the sights are mediocre to fine, and the reliability is great. Ergonomics are usable, the MOS optics cut kinda sucks, and the texturing, especially on Gen 3 frames, is pretty bad. I recently did a homebrew stipple job on my Glock to get it to feel right, and while it is ostentatious to look at, it does work. So as far as stock Glock triggers go, they aren't the biggest issue for me. I would much rather replace the sighting system and grip texture before I swapped the trigger if I had to pick out of the biggest issues that I personally have with Glocks. But online, I think the triggers have gotten maligned somewhat unfairly, as newer options have flooded the market with better triggers, grips, sights, ergos, and lower prices in some case as well, and the trigger kind of sticks out, especially to newer shooters. But a lot of us still run Glocks because reliability and dependability trumps all. So getting to the Apex Tactical Action Enhancement Trigger Kit, we can remove some of the supposed issues that the internet has with Glocks. And this is one of the reasons why this is going to be my favorite Glock trigger enhancement that I've used so far. So getting into the trigger kit, these come with a nearly flat trigger shoe and a flush safety blade, enhanced trigger bar, polish connector, and a slightly redone plunger to change the way the trigger feels. Installation was easy enough, and I didn't have to fiddle or fit anything to get it to work correctly right away. We all know how a stock Glock trigger works. Lots of take up, a soft, mushy, sometimes gritty wall, and then it eventually breaks at about 6 pounds out of the box. The reset is short and positive, and you're right back on that wall. With the Apex kit, you still get your short take up to a somewhat mushy wall, but the difference here is that the take up is slightly shorter, and the wall, while still mushy, is much smoother than stock. At the back, the trigger breaks at about 5 pounds, and the kit is rated to take about a pound off the total pull, which it does. For the reset, you still have a short, positive reset, and you're right back on that slightly smoother, lighter wall. There are essentially two parts to every trigger pull. There are the dynamics of the trigger and then the weight. Trigger weight is very simple. It's just whatever the total pull weight is right before the trigger breaks, and the dynamics is the combination of the take-up, wall, and reset. I've used some 2 to 3 pound striker fired triggers that, while the weight was good, the trigger pull was long and sloppy with no defined wall and an inconsistent breaking point. With the Apex trigger kit, you get a slightly better Glock-esque dynamics with still the same take up and wall, but you reduce the weight overall by about a pound. So why do I think that this is the best Glock trigger enhancement kit that I've tried? Well, it's because it retains all of the Glock safeties and enough weight to still be usable in a high-stress environment. I have used some lighter triggers like the Timney competition trigger, and that trigger, while certainly lighter, completely ruined the dynamics, and I would not be something that I would want to carry or use in a duty application, even though it is a technically lighter trigger. With the Apex Tactical Trigger Kit, it is still something that I would be very comfortable carrying, and it gives me better performance in every way over a stock Glock trigger while maintaining control and very similar feeling. Total cost for the kit comes in at $130, which isn't bad for a complete trigger kit. And if you already have a Glock, it may be something that you can try and it doesn't completely ruin the feel and the dynamics of a stock Glock trigger. However, if you are going to purchase a Glock and then buy this trigger kit, you're probably better off going with something else to begin with. So, is this trigger kit right for you? Well, if you don't particularly like your stock Glock trigger, or you just want to make it feel a little bit better while still retaining the same dynamics, then the Apex trigger kit is a good way to go. If you're simply looking for the lightest trigger possible, then you'll probably have to go with something like the Timney or the new Glock competition trigger as well. But with all of that out of the way, guys, let me know what you think of the Apex Tactical Action Enhancement Trigger Kit for Glocks, and if there's a different one that I should give a try. But once again, with all of that out of the way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Peace off.